We got a possible clue, a big clue, this week on Dynamite as to who the devil might be that has been stalking MJF. First, he defended the AEW World title. MJF did, not the devil. Against Daniel Garcia, unless they are one and the same. That is possible. But he defended the title against Daniel Garcia, the same Daniel Garcia who before his win last week over Trent Beretta on Rampage had not wrestled a singles match on television since a loss to Roderick Strong in May. 6 months ago. There he was on Wednesday challenging for the world title. There needs to be a better way for deciding who challenges for the top title, other than cutting a promo on their third string show saying, I want a title shot. There has to be a better way. Of course, MJF won. Then in the main event, Jay White beat Mark Briscoe. And when the match was over, MJF, he came out, he cleared the ring of everybody except Jay White. He beat up the other members of Bullet Club Gold. He left Jay White, who escaped. MJF cut a promo on him, and then the lights went out. And in the back, we cut to the back, we saw 4 masked men, the ninjas were back, beating up the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn, and one of them launched Anthony Bowens through a glass window. MJF sprinted to the back, he found them all laid out. No ninjas, no devil, who showed his face again. The devil wasn't actually there with the ninjas. So if MJF wanted to throw us off, it could conceivably be him. On commentary, they said whoever helps MJF is in harm's way, which means they've changed the storyline because the first attack, if you remember, was on Jay White. And Jay White has never helped MJF. Jay White has never been friends with MJF. So what Excalibur said there made no sense unless they've decided to change the story because maybe they've changed their mind on who the devil is going to be. And based on Anthony Bowens going through glass, I immediately thought of Jack Perry, who we have not seen since he got CM Punk fired from AEW. He definitely fits the build of the man in the devil mask that first time anyway, right? He's got history with MJF. Even earlier this year, they were both part of the 4 Pillars match at Double or Nothing. 2 of the young AEW originals from day one. Think about those promos from earlier this year. MJF skewered him. And they could easily tie him as the devil back to those promos and the things that MJF said about him, needing to be more like him, right? Someone who abandoned his friends and looks out only for himself. They actually could make sense out of it, but I'm not sure if he could carry it. You know, he started to find his voice a little bit as a heel at the time he got suspended, but it's not like he's some great promo yet. But if Tony Khan wanted to capitalize on whatever heat he might have coming out of All In with fans being upset over CM Punk leaving, if they blame Jack Perry for that, right? If they do, you may as well use it. You may as well use that heat. They should have some kind of big plan for him when he comes back other than just throwing him back on TV or having him feud with Hook again. This would qualify as something big. Right now, I think we have to put Jack Perry at the top of the list of possibilities. But let's take a look at all of the other ones as well. I wanted to game this out here. Let's take a look at all of the other possibilities for who the devil might be, if not Jack Perry. Before the segment at the end of Dynamite, my money would have been on Roderick Strong. From day one, Roddy was my pick. I still think Roddy is one of the 2 likeliest choices. He's the one who's always telling Adam Cole he thinks MJF is the devil. Isn't it apparent, right? He's the devil. It would make total sense for it to be him because he doesn't like MJF. And if the new angle here is that the devil is taking out people close to MJF, Roddy might be doing that because MJF took away the person closest to him, his best friend Adam. I think Jack Perry and Roddy have to top the list of suspects. Adam Cole. There are people still convinced that it is Adam Cole, and either he is working the ankle injury or the severity of the ankle injury. It's not as bad as they've said, or he's not hurt at all. But if he is, they're going to drag it out for months until he's ready to come back to TV, and then they're going to reveal that it was him all along. I would have thought that it was him too, were it not for the ankle injury, which is a very real injury. But the devil stuff only started a week after Cole got hurt. I think this entire storyline is a reaction to Adam Cole being hurt at Grand Slam. It would make a lot of sense. He refused to cheat in their match at Wembley. He wanted to win the right way, and it backfired on him. He had the chance to cheat, right? He elected not to. He can't believe that he actually lost. So he's been playing along this whole time, pretending to be MJF's friend. He dresses up as the devil to get in his head, and it ends up being revealed that it was him all along. A predictable ending to their friendship, except that he's hurt. And he's going to be out for a long time. We're not talking about a couple of months here. And I don't think they can keep this interesting enough for the amount of time that Cole is going to be out without completely killing this angle. Now, if they pull a Who Ran Down Stone Cold deal on us, where they make the devil somebody else, only months later to reveal that it was actually Adam Cole as the mastermind behind the whole thing, I think that would be kind of lame, but they could do that. Look, that's exactly what happened in the other angle, right? Rikishi was the driver, but Triple H ended up being the mastermind. It ended up being the predictable choice all along. So I think that's a lot more likely than it just being revealed that Adam Cole is the devil. Maybe Roddy is the devil, but months later we find out the real mastermind behind everything was Adam Cole, and Cole ends up being aligned with Roddy and the Kingdom, and by then maybe Kyle O'Reilly is back with them too. But for now, I'm putting Cole in the unlikely category. I still put him below Jack Perry and Roddy. Britt Baker's name has been floated lately as a possibility. Maybe the devil isn't a he after all. Now, for her part, she's already denied being the devil in an interview, but that's exactly the sort of thing the devil would say, right? It's not me. It could be that she took it upon herself to do it, and MJF is left to wonder if Adam Cole knew about it or not, right? He can deny that he had any knowledge of what she was going to do. My question is this: if you want to go with somebody like Britt Baker in this scenario, what's the payoff? Are they going to do an intergender match eventually between the two of them? Who wants to see that? I have no interest in seeing that. There's no payoff unless MJF gets his hands on the devil. Even when Vince McMahon revealed himself as the higher power, and what a letdown that was, I remember watching that live. Even Vince would wrestle or take bumps, right? You could give people that payoff. With Britt Baker as the devil, there's no payoff. There's no money in that. There's no big pay-per-view match to build to, so you don't do it. Samoa Joe has offered to be MJF's friend and to watch his back, right? So long as MJF agrees to give him another shot at the AEW World title. So far, MJF has refused. Joe actually vacated his Ring of Honor television title on Wednesday after his win over Keith Lee. Almost 600 days as champion, and he lays the belt down to pursue another championship, the AEW World Championship. I'll say this about him vacating the title: I'm fine with it. I like it. I don't care about the Ring of Honor television title. It means nothing to me. I want Samoa Joe on AEW television full-time, and if it takes him giving up a useless belt to get it, then so be it. There are situations where having a guy give up the title like that would upset me. If Gunther did that with the Intercontinental title, that would bother me, because there's a great story there for him losing the belt to somebody else. But if Tony Khan wants him challenging for the AEW World title, I understand him not wanting Joe to lose the Ring of Honor television title and get beat and get pinned. Right? If he doesn't want him losing until he gets back in the ring with MJF, I get that. Could Joe be the devil? He showed up after MJF sprinted to the back and he found the Acclaimed laid out. There was Joe, smiling at his misfortune. You have to put Joe on the list of suspects, but him dressing up as the devil doesn't fit his persona. I mean, he isn't the type of person to play dress up like it's Halloween. If he wanted to send a message to MJF, he would say it to his face. Or he would go straight at the guy himself. He wouldn't be playing games with him. So no, I don't think it's Samoa Joe. Some people think that the devil is CM Punk. Actually, there's a lot of people who probably think CM Punk is the devil, but I mean in the devil mask. They think it's CM Punk. It is not CM Punk. Now, would it be a big reveal? Absolutely. Punk was walking around with his own belt last time we saw him, right? He was taking shots at MJF, even though MJF no-sold it. He never even acknowledged Punk. But this is just wishful thinking. It's like the people thinking Punk is going to show up in Chicago at Survivor Series. Now, what about someone recently released by WWE? Somebody like Dolph Ziggler. I said when he was released back in September that he's probably the one, of all the names that were let go, the one most likely to be AEW bound when his non-compete is up. Well, it just so happens that his non-compete is up in late December, a week before their World's End pay-per-view. World's End sounds like a good place for a devil reveal, wouldn't you say? But then, there's always a downside here. Now you're talking about somebody who was treated like an enhancement talent the last few years in WWE. Actually, more than a few years. He was an enhancement guy. He was a job guy in WWE. Not doubting his talent. Everybody knows how talented Nick Nemeth is. But he was on television for years, treated as an enhancement talent. Was not even being used on TV in his final days with the company. And you're immediately going to put him in a spot challenging the world champion? Feuding with the world champion? It's everything AEW should not be doing right now. It's one thing to bring Ziggler in. I think he definitely has value to AEW, even behind the scenes. But it's another to bring him in a spot like that. It's exactly the sort of thing I would expect out of TNA 15 years ago. It's not what AEW should be doing. But I would say there's a better than 50% chance that it could end up being Ziggler. I put him a tier below Jack Perry and Roddy. What about MJF himself? Is MJF the devil? Well, yeah, he tells us every week that he is. What if he's been spoiling the answer all along? Every week, we're just too stupid to realize it. He tells us every week what a scumbag he is. It would fit his MO. But if MJF is the devil, that means he goes heel again. He's their most over babyface right now. Who steps into that spot if MJF flips back over to the heel side? Kenny Omega is not going to be in that spot. Chris Jericho is not going to be in that spot. He better not be. Bryan Danielson is not going to be in that spot. He can barely stay healthy as it is. Adam Copeland is not going to be in that spot. He's feuding with Christian Cage. Wardlow? Please. I could see Wardlow being one of the attackers. One of the masked men on Wednesday kind of had his build. I could see Darby Allin maybe taking his spot as the top babyface if MJF went heel again. There was a time where I thought Darby was going to be the one to take the belt from MJF. But if he's climbing Mount Everest next year, he's not challenging for the world title. They need MJF as their top babyface. Making him the devil would just be bad business. There's one other possibility for the devil, and I hate to even bring this one up because this would be fucking terrible. But what if the devil is Tony Khan? Can you imagine Tony Khan as an on-screen heel authority figure trying to be like Vince McMahon? Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon is the greatest heel in the history of the business. Tony Khan would look like a guy in the crowd cosplaying as Vince McMahon and doing a really bad job of it. Nor would it make any sense with the whole bidding war of 2024 story. Why would he want to piss off his world champion if he's trying to get him to stay in the company? But I had to put that out there because the devil looks kind of small, right? Tony is small. And it's not like we haven't seen promoters want to play wrestler on TV before and make themselves, the centerpiece of the show. But this would be the single worst idea in the 4-year history of his company. And honestly, it would give Billy Corgan's idiotic idea to go with that spot on the NWA pay-per-view, thus costing themselves a television deal, a run for their money when it comes to the most embarrassing wrestling moment of 2023. So the likelihood of Tony Khan being the devil is slim to none, but it's not a totally dead possibility. So take your pick. Who do you think the devil is? Chime in and let me know.